All right, what's good, everyone? So we're gonna delve in this video, delve into some of the model assumptions that we're making when we fit this model. And we're gonna start that by first actually talking about the three plots that we're gonna end up using to assess some of these assumptions. And so the first plot that we're going to use is just what we've already seen before. So the scatter plot of the response variable on the y-axis, the explanatory variable on the x-axis, so explanatory or predictor variable, whatever you want to call it. So that's kind of nice. That's already like taken care of or whatever. So we're good with that. The second plot is a residual plot of residuals on the y-axis and fitted values on the x-axis. And so if you were doing this by hand, we're just going to draw a little tiny example. And so we're going to suppose that you just have three data points. And so our scatter plot would look like this. What we're going to do is for each of these three data points, we would calculate a residual and also calculate its fitted value or its prediction. And we would then put the residuals on the y-axis and the fitted values on the x-axis. You might recall from Introstat that the x-axis might have been your predictor variable, and you'll see in the kind of your turn section that these two plots are really kind of equivalent, whether you're putting the fitted values on the x-axis or the predictor variable on the x-axis. And so how this would play out is it looks like this first point has a slight positive residual and has a pretty small fitted value. And so it would maybe be somewhere like around here. The second point's fitted value is a little bit larger. And so I'll label these points so it's a little bit more clear. And its residual is negative, so it's going to go below the x-axis in this plot. And then the third point's fitted value, the way I drew it here, the third point's residual is also negative, and it's got a much larger fitted value than these other 2 points. And so it might be over here. All right, and so this is kind of how this plot is constructed. You're calculating the residual for each and every point, you're calculating the fitted value for each and every point, and then you're plotting, putting those on one graph. For now, we don't know why that's useful, but we will in a minute or two. The third plot is just a histogram of the residuals. And so this is just like your regular histogram, but we're going to make a special note that this is not of the response variable. So you're not making a histogram of your response, you're making a histogram of the residuals in your model. And so what that means is that the histogram should always be centered at 0 because the residuals will always be centered at 0 as well. And so it might look something like this, and just some made-up example. Okay, so now we've got 3 different plots. We've got a scatter plot that we've talked about before. We've got our residuals versus fitted plot, which we're going to call the residual plot. And we've got a histogram of the residuals. And so in the next video, we'll kind of see how all of those tie in to our standard assumptions for this linear regression model.